This video is brought to you by Loot Crate. Head today to lootcrate.com/reviewtechusa and enter the code RTU to save 10% on any subscription plan. Skip it up and that up. So Alienware has released the Alienware Alpha. This is their quote-unquote console killer gaming PC. This thing is tiny. Here's some B-roll from a GameSpot video I'll show you real quick. And yeah, it's actually literally half the size of a PlayStation 4. Not half the size of a gaming PC, half the size of a PlayStation 4. Now, obviously, how they did this is it's a mix of hardware from a gaming laptop, and it actually has some desktop parts in it too. You could actually upgrade the memory in this thing. You don't just have to stick with the 8 gigabytes of memory that they give you according to which model that you get, and you could actually upgrade the CPU as well. But is it worth buying one of these micro gaming PCs as opposed to a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. We're going to look at the different models, and at the end, I'll give you my final verdict and feel if this is a worthwhile investment. You'll be surprised at what I have to say. So let's take a look all the way over to the left side, shall we, where they have the Alienware Alpha for $549, and then right next to it, we'll look at that too. At the same time, the Alienware Alpha for $699. Both of these have 4th generation Intel Core i3 processors, Windows 8.1. The only difference in between these is the entry-level Alpha model has 4 gigs of RAM, and the $699 model has 8 gigs of memory. All of these different iterations of the Alpha all have the same exact graphics processor. They all have the NVIDIA GeForce GTX GPU with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory. From what I've read, it's basically just a souped up 860M graphics processor in there. So it doesn't matter if you buy the entry-level model or the top-of-the-line Alienware Alpha, which has the Core i7 in it, you're still going to get the same exact graphics chip from NVIDIA. Now, do I feel that these two entry-level models for $549 and $699 are worth it? I'm going to say absolutely not. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but in the year 2014, I do not think any processor in a computer should be less than 4 cores. I understand that, you know, the per core performance in Intel processors is vastly superior to AMD, but I personally rather have an AMD processor as a quad core processor than a dual core processor from Intel. Not that I have anything against Intel, I just invested a ton of money in an Intel machine. I just feel that for gaming and just any kind of multi-threaded application in general, that you need to have a quad-core processor. I'm very well aware that even to this day, most games only use 2 cores, or they're compatible with dual-core processors. But especially now with the 8th gen consoles out, and the 8th gen consoles from Sony and Microsoft have 8-core processors, games in the very, very, very near future are going to require at least a quad-core processor. And it's going to make these machines useless when that day comes around. So yeah, save your money and avoid the $549 and $699 Alienware Alpha machines. I just don't understand why they would even offer these machines with a dual-core processor in them. One other thing I forgot to note too, there's a difference in the storage sizes of both the Alienware Alpha for $549 and the model for $699. The $699 model, you get a terabyte hard drive in there, a 1 terabyte hard drive, and in the entry-level model, you only get a 500 gigabyte hard drive. So that's another incentive to go up to the $699 model, even though I don't recommend either of these iterations of the Alpha because, again, they only have a dual-core processor. But moving on. So now let's take a look at the two big dogs here. We have the Alpha for $799 and the Alienware Alpha for $899. Now, the cool thing about the $799 model is that that's actually a quad-core i5 Intel processor in there, not just a dual-core with hyper-threading or anything like that. It's a quad-core i5, and obviously the Core i7 is a quad-core processor. The biggest difference in between the two processors with these is that the i7 has hyper-threading and it has 2 more megabytes of cache. There's only 6 megabytes of cache in the Core i5 Alpha, and in the i7 Alpha there's 8 megabytes of cache, and again the i7 allows for hyper-threading, so it could run 8 threads of code at once. Everything else is pretty much the same though. Windows 8.1, 8 gigabytes of memory. Again, All of these Alpha machines have the same exact graphics processor in them. The other key difference is at the top of the line, Alienware Alpha model has a 2 terabyte drive, and the 799 i5 model has a 1 terabyte drive, so you get double the storage in the top of the line model. So it's interesting. If you scroll the Alienware Alpha page, yes, I know I've been saying the name a lot of this computer, but whatever. If you scroll the Alpha page and you look at they show like all the benefits of they consider this a gaming console, even though it's really a very small form factor PC. They show all the different benefits of how, you could upgrade the RAM, you could upgrade the processor. The Alienware Alpha is actually 4K resolution capable. Let me fill you in on something with that. Yes, this little box, this little PC can output 4K, but there's no way in the name of hell you are gaming in 4K native resolution with a GeForce GTX 860M on steroids. It's just not happening. First and foremost, without even knowing the other specs, only 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 is not enough of a frame buffer to output 4K games. It's just not happening. So yes, with these boxes, you will be able to watch 4K movies, view your desktop in 4K, but you will not be gaming in 4K. They don't lie to you and say that you will be gaming in 4K, but they also conveniently forget to tell you that you won't be gaming in 4K. They kind of just say, oh, we can output 4K, and I think they're hoping that people who don't know any better will think, wow, I could game in 4K in this, and I can't do that on the PS4 and Xbox One. No, you will not be gaming in 4K resolution with the Alienware Alpha, no matter which one you buy. That's a fact. So do I recommend the Alienware Alpha? I'm going to say no from one aspect, and I'm going to say yes from another, okay? If you're looking to do more with this than just play games, if you're looking for a very small desktop machine that you can game on, but you're also looking to do content creation, then I actually think the $899 Alienware Alpha is a pretty sweet deal. If gaming is a very secondary thing for you, but you're happy that it can game, and you're just looking to use like Photoshop and Adobe products and Sony Vegas, then I think actually the Alienware Alpha for $899 is a pretty sweet deal. As a matter of fact, Jared from Silvermania, he was looking to build a PC, but I actually would recommend him to get that because his budget was around $800 as opposed to building one, because it'll be more than capable enough for what he needs to do. And hell, he could game on top of it too. But if you're looking to solely game and just use it as a content consumption device, I would still say stick with a PS4, Xbox One. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Rich, you just had that video up yesterday showing how much better the graphics are on PC. I wasn't showing that to compare the current gen consoles to PC. I was just showing it to show how outdated I felt the hardware was. But the biggest Achilles heel, anyway, moving on, the biggest Achilles heel to the Alienware Alpha really is the GPU. I don't understand two things. One, why they chose a very anemic 860M on steroids with only 2 gigabytes of RAM, the GDDR5, the frame buffer. Why they also didn't do where you can upgrade that in the future. I understand just soldering it to the motherboard is cheaper for manufacturing and so on and so forth, but it would have definitely made the Alienware Alpha more of a worthwhile investment, even if they made a proprietary socket where say, hey, in the future, when they come out with the 980M, which actually I already think they already have out the 980 mobile processor, you can upgrade to that, or whatever NVIDIA comes out with the future, we'll have that. You could just buy the new GPU, put it in a socket, and boom, you're ready to go. You could upgrade your Alienware Alpha. You could upgrade the graphics too, not just the processor and the CPU, because here's the reality of it. Gaming, even to this day, is still 90% graphics processor, and yeah, the rest of the hardware helps. Having a faster CPU helps, and having other stuff helps, but most of the work is done by the GPU. And in the future, yeah, you'll still have the nice 4th generation Intel i7 in there, which will last you a while, and you could upgrade the memory, so on and so forth. But once that graphics processor becomes extremely outdated, which will be fairly soon because it's already behind the curve in all of these different Alienware machines, as a gaming console, quote unquote, which Alienware is touting the Alpha to be, it's going to become useless even quicker than the PS4 and Xbox One. Because again, one of the positive sides to console gaming is that even when the hardware becomes very dated, all of the software developers know exactly what they're making games for. Every PS4 is going to have the same RAM, same processor, same graphics chip, so they know how to really like dig down to the metal of the gaming console hardware. Small form factor or not, this is still a PC, and developers can't optimize games for PCs like they can for consoles, because they have to make sure the games for PCs work on a billion different types of hardware, whereas when they make that same game for the Xbox One, PS4, or Wii U, they know everyone's going to have the same damn hardware, so it's easier to optimize a game for a console than it is for a PC, which will make the Alienware Alpha outdated much quicker because it's already behind the curve, and games for PC are not optimized as well. They just can't be. It's physically impossible. So the bottom line is the Alienware Alpha is for some people and it's not for other people. If you're looking to just game, save yourself $400 and go out and buy a PS4, Xbox One, or honestly build a PC. Building a PC, you could get a PC with superior hardware for around $600. If you really dig deep and do some research and look for sales, you could build a PC that wipes its ass with the top of the line Alienware Alpha and save yourself a couple hundred to a few $100. But if you don't even want to do that, I would say stick to consoles. But if you're looking to get this to do more than gaming, if you're looking for it as a content creation device, like Jarrett from Silvermania, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, Jarrett, I recommend the one for $8.99 for you, then yeah, maybe it's something to look into, because you'll have this tiny form factor desktop PC that not only is a decent gaming machine, it's also great for, like I said, doing Photoshop and other things. So it's really up to you if the Alienware Alpha is something that you want to invest in. All right, folks, this is Rich of Review Tech USA. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for supporting my channel. Have a good one.